We make our way from Birmingham to Punjab now. Royal challengers Bengaluru have booked their spot in this season's Tata Indian Premier League final after thrashing Punjab Kings by 8 wickets at the Maharaja Yadavindra Stadium in Qualifier 1 earlier on Thursday. RCB had it all their way to begin proceedings. Their seam attack, including the returning Josh Hazlewood, 3 for 21, ripped through the Punjab top order to leave them reeling at 48 for 4 at the end of the power play. There would be no respite for the Kings, who then had to contend with 22-year-old Suyash Sharma, who spun his way to match-winning figures of 3 for 17 as Punjab were bundled out for 101 in 14.1 overs. Well, here's how RCB went about the chase.
Yeah, just looking at 102, it's never going to be that challenging. Started off the usual way that they have done as a pair, Virat Kohli and Phil Salt. But that over was exceptional from Jamieson. Picked up the wicket of Virat, but that was the only bright spot as far as Punjab Kings bowling was concerned. Phil Salt, top down. Another half century for him. Mine came in to bat at number 3. Got 19. Oh, but a little unfortunate the way he got out. The first wicket in IPL for Mushir. While Phil Salt picked up another half century, and Rajat Patidar, the skipper, finishing the game off with a 6 and securing their place in the finals.
All right, the captains Shreyas Iyer from Punjab Kings and RCB's Rajat Patidar addressed their differing fortunes at assessing and utilizing the surface.
I feel that we got to go back to the drawing board and see where we went wrong. We were a bit befuddled, to be honest, in terms of reading the wicket, and a lot of wickets we lost in tantrum. So, yeah, there's a lot to go back and study on.
I think we are very clear in our plans and how we have to bowl, and I think fast bowler used the surface pretty well, and the way Suyash chip in the between and the way he bowled his line and length, that was incredible.
Joining us now via Zoom to review Qualifier 1 is Nikhil Uttamchandani. Nikhil, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Maria. And yeah, great day in the IPL. Enterprising action, and probably the biggest franchise in world cricket is now into another final, their 4th.
Yeah, really exciting time. So I'm going to ask you a question, draw it down to this. Was it actually terrific bowling, or did it come down to just terrible batting by Punjab?
I hate these answers because every time I ask this question to someone, they always say a bit of both. So I'm not even going to go there, and I'm going to say I think it was a case of one team utilizing and adapting to conditions better than the other team has. It was a surface that I enjoyed, actually. I don't think it was quite 100 all out, but I thought it was maybe a 150, 160 surface, because you look at the way Hazlewood, Bhuvaneshwar, Yash Dayal bowled on it. There was a bit of nibble for the seamers. It wasn't the easiest with some variable bounce, but as Phil Salt shown in the second innings, when the ball did a bit more, you know, he showed that there's value for your shots if you can just, I think, commit and wait on a certain delivery. So I think credit to RCB. It's been their bowling attack for me that has been the biggest difference this year and has gotten them to the final. And then look, you have to touch on the inexperience of that Kings lineup. They've played one way this year, and you look at these shots, they've gone hard, and that's been their way. Even when they're in early trouble, the mantra has been attack. But the problem is when you, first of all, come up in a pressure game with inexperience, and then also on a surface that doesn't really support that approach, you're more often than not going to come out on the losing end.
You know, you say inexperience, Nikhil, and I have to ask you because, you know, when you think IPL, you think everybody is top quality. We're thinking about a lot of the Indian batsmen, and we always say this on the show, you know, it's as if India has a cricket factory where when one legend steps away, a youngster steps in and it's just automatic and they do really well. So I'm thinking, you know, to say inexperience, do you feel like that's a bit unjust?
Well, they'll be experienced maybe compared to others in world cricket because they've got the platform of the IPL. But if I compare the two teams, and I think about what RCB have in Krunal Pandya, who's won multiple IPLs, Josh Hazlewood, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, who has been one of the leading wicket takers and is in the top 10 leading wicket takers in IPL history. I just think the two teams, pound for pound, there's significantly more experience in that RCB side. And I think in these games, when your bats are against the walls early, I think you want sort of to rely on that experience. And look, Punjab have had their uncapped players being the major standouts for them this season. It's the reason why they top the table. But I just think on a night like tonight, you could see that inexperience showing when the adversity hit and there was no sort of way to respond. But I mean, look, they've done well in the season to give them the benefit of qualifying top two and having a second chance.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely did that. What we saw today, though, a lopsided match. So you wouldn't even think that they topped the table. A quick comment on our West Indian, Romario Shepherd, who bowled one over, picked up a wicket, making amends for the last match.
Yeah, I'm happy that he was able to do that, Maria, because I think he could have easily gone back to Bhuvaneshwar Kumar or Josh Hazlewood, Patidar, the captain, that is. But instead, he went to Shepherd, which I think continues to show the belief they have in him. They could have also kept Tushar in the team today and dropped Shepherd. But I think they've got such a belief in him with his all-round ability. And let's not forget, I mean, after we saw the West Indies' dismal performance earlier today, this is the reason why Shepherd has stayed back in the IPL. So it's great to see him actually playing and contributing to a team that has a phenomenal chance to win the IPL.
Yeah, a quick word, Nikhil, on Josh Hazlewood. Everyone who watches the show would know that I'm a big fan of Josh. 6 feet 5 inches. His first match in over a month because he was off with a bit of a shoulder bother. But he was terrific today, wasn't he?
Lance, it was probably the perfect pitch for him and someone with his bowling style. And look, I want to give RCB a lot of credit for not only the Hazlewood pick, but their scouting and recruitment on a whole. People, and including myself, were skeptical about their drafts and auction strategy after the 2 days. And you look at Bhuvaneshwar and Hazlewood, they spent $2.7 million US on two bowlers. But they showed you this season why. And I mean, I look at today, Hazlewood, and the way he's stood out in RCB's history in terms of wicket takers and the consistency and repetition. He had a phenomenal season in 2022. And I want us to look at this list, right? Some of the names here in the all-time wicket takers for RCB: Chahal, Harshal Patel, Mohammad Siraj, the great Anil Kumble, Dale Steyn is in that top 10 as well. Guys, these are known performers in Indian cricket history. And you look at the averages, he is the only one in the top 19 to have an average of under 20. And you think about where RCB play their games, majority at the Bengaluru, which has been such a tough place for bowlers. I think it speaks volumes about his ability and his consistency, not only in length, but in performance over the years. For me, he's equated himself in terms of impact to what I think about a Jasprit Bumrah on Mumbai Indians. And the team looks completely different. The bowling attack is like a different bowling attack when he's there compared to when he isn't. So I think he was a great buy for them. They invested heavily in him. And credit to RCB again for their all-round overseas signings. Phil Salt, 450s this year, and is a big reason as to why they're also in the final.
Yeah, you said on the show yesterday, Nikhil, that you thought the winner of the IPL this year would come from today's match, today's qualifier one. Obviously, RC Bengaluru are into the final now, so they've got one foot in. But I know despite the fact that you just referenced Punjab Kings' inexperience and the way they tackled the pressure they were under today, I didn't get the impression that you're ready to completely write them off, because they do have a second chance, don't they?
Yeah, Lance, look, I think they do miss a lot without Marco Jansen, and it showed today. But again, the game was lost with bat in hand. And I do think this 3-day break now will do them well. This is a great opportunity for a young group of players in Wadera, Shashank Singh, the two openers, guys that have never played for India, have never dealt with the sort of expectation that would have been on their shoulders tonight. This will be a huge learning for them, and I expect to see a more adaptable approach come Sunday, whether it's against Gujarat or MI. And I think the batting depth that they have makes them a handful for either of the two teams. I very much believe we could easily see these two teams in the final again.
Interesting, Nikhil. Of course, you speak about the match tomorrow between Mumbai Indians and Gujarat Titans. Of course, Sherfin Rutherford in that Titans setup. How do you see that one going on Friday, the eliminator?
For me, Ricardo, it comes down to the Gujarat openers against Jasprit Bumrah. The consistency that they have found this season, the two openers, now I think will be challenged without Jos Buttler batting at 3. Will they play the same way? Will they continue to attack and find the same regularity and consistency of going deep in the innings? But also for that Gujarat team, can they get a bit more responsibility out of their overseas? We had a great snippet yesterday as a zone update from Rutherford talking about the role at number 4 and wanting to evolve into a more responsible batter. He's averaged over 30 this season, but he's not been able to convert any of those 30-plus scores to a 50. He's only been in the 40s, the 30s, the 20s. So I think without Buttler, now more than ever, after a Gujarat have fought hard to keep you there away from West Indies duty, it is now time for Rutherford and Rashid Khan, who I think in the last 5 games is going 11 runs and over. It is time for their 2 overseas players to come to the party to contend with that star Indian quality that the Mumbai Indians possess.
Yeah, it certainly makes for some fantastic matchups in that contest on Friday. Remind me, Nikhil, of when the slight name change for the Royal Challengers, well, Bengaluru?
That came in this season, if I'm not mistaken.
That came this season. This is their 4th final. Could the change of name bring a change of fortunes come next Tuesday when the championship match is played?
I'm not ready to give my prediction as yet. Y'all have to bring back on the show. I need to see who they're playing against. But I heard Tom Moody say today, it's RCB's to lose.
I tell you, there are at least 2 of those finals. It was theirs to lose as well, and they did, but we're not talking about that. No, we're talking about it on Monday, hopefully, Nikhil, when you'll give us your prediction for the final. By then, we will know the finalists because Qualifier 2 will be played on Sunday. Quickly, before we have to go, Nikhil, that West Indies match today, what was worse, the batting or the bowling?
The bowling for me, yeah. I think the game was lost with the ball. It was disheartening, man. I really hope they can go and come hard again. It was so good to see the amount of West Indians there in person. Rally, men, rally. We need a bigger rallying from you guys.
Yeah, Nikhil Chandani, he is a marketing expert, he is a fan, he is a commentator extraordinaire, and most importantly, he's balanced. Right, Mariah?
Thank you, Nikhil. See you on the next show.
Yes, thank you very much. Man.
All right, viewers. Well, the action continues on Friday when third tackles 4th in the eliminator, with Gujarat Titans going up against Mumbai Indians for a spot in Sunday's Qualifier 2. That's against the Punjab Kings. Catch every ball on the SportsMax app from 10 a.m. Eastern Caribbean Time, 9 in Jamaica.